Okay, so now I will show you where I actually grew up in this house. It's a 200-year-old house in downtown Copenhagen, and these are the 64 steps down. And this is a house where there's no parking garage or anything, so there's only a very small yard for bicycles. So that's why I basically grew up without using cars. My family did have one, but it was parked a bit outside of the city center. So this is the little yard. See if I can stabilize it here. Yes. And I will be taking. So to save space, we are hanging the bicycles by the front wheel. So I'll take it down like this. Whoops, that's so easy when I only use one hand. Yeah. And I'll just hang I have a bag of stuff that I need to bring along. Whoops. Sorry for that. So this is how you sort of can hang a bag at the bicycle. So very small courtyard. This is also where the trash bins are. So the city is clearly not built to rely on cars. In fact, the street I'll now be going down is 1,000 years old. So this is the street, and I'll just turn around so you can have a look at the house. Not so easy, but it's basically the white house there in front. So, yeah. So I'll do a few errands now that I'm back home. So I thought I would just show you how it is to get around by bicycle. So here's a big truck backing up and giving an alarm for people like me, so you don't get squashed. Whoops. So this is one of my favorite squares. Look at this tree here. It used to be the site of a yard. Not a yard, like a mansion, an estate. But the guy who owned this estate, he was a traitor to the country, and therefore this estate was torn down, and there was a sculpture or stone put down to tell about this misdeed. So these are coupled stones, quite rocky, but you can see at the side they have polished them, so then it's much more easy to go. So now we are getting down to the walking street, one of the many walking streets, where the pedestrians have the right of way. So I'll go very still. So straight ahead, this is the round tower, which was built as an observatory. basically the mark where the countryside starts. So this used to be the end of the city. And then there's houses here on the left. We had an astronomer called Ole Rømer, who was the first man to measure the speed of light. But his readings were disturbed by the horse carriages going by on the stones that gave some vibrations. He was also a great city planner and had many abilities. In front is the King's Garden, so that was definitely in the countryside back then. And that's where we keep there's a small castle in the middle, that's where we keep our crown jewels. Cycling around the King's Garden. So here you can see the bicycles get the green light first, so we don't get caught off by the cars turning right. And there's a big and nice wide bicycle lane here, the same width as the street. I have to turn left at some point. Let's see. Okay, there's quite a few cars. So wait my turn. So not every road has a bicycle lane in Copenhagen, but roads like these with not too much traffic, it's still very safe to ride your bicycle. The road condition is quite poor on this road actually. Oops. Copplestones look great, but they are not so comfortable for cyclists, as you can tell. All the noise and the shaking. Oops. Alright. So these are newer constructions. Yeah. Newer part of the city. This is considered a big road in Copenhagen. A lot of traffic. This is still the King's Garden on the left. Coming up on the left. So I will make a right turn here. And we have a green light. Whoops. She needed to get her gloves on. It's getting cooler. Whoops. I missed the bicycle lane there. Today is the 25th of September. So the summer is over and the fall is beginning. So these great yellow buildings were where the fleet personnel from the Danish fleet used to stay, especially further down. It was called Nyhavn. So the streets have a lot of funny names, like one is called Crocodile Street, and so it's very exotic. Here's Alfred Fischer, so that was one of the officers, I think. So I'm going to visit someone on this street coming up. This is a very little charming street. Look at that. I'm visiting here in the last house, on the yellow house on the right hand side. Krusemyntegade. Number 24. Here we go. Så kører vi videre. We will now continue to the next errand, which is on the old sort of fleet harbour of Copenhagen, Holmen, and for that purpose I will be cycling down across the new bridge, which is a pedestrian and cycling bridge, which opened 2-3 years ago. Which is a great shortcut across the harbour of Copenhagen. So let me just think how I get there. Yeah. Let's go. So we're back at the King's Garden on the right. So just go straight. Sort of thinkers in Denmark for green development and energy efficient development. And he also played a key role in Denmark not getting nuclear power for power generation. Always very interesting too. He's now in his 80s, but he's still very alert and still actively publishing the main promenade in Copenhagen, Strøget, at this light, where it goes from the City Hall Square in one end to a big square and the old harbour at the other end, where we also have our Royal Ballet Theatre. National Bank straight ahead, and on the right there, that's a Danish bank, the biggest bank in Denmark, which just had a huge money laundering scandal. So that's really probably the biggest in the world. Very scandalous. About 200 billion euros. Get down to the new harbour, which is actually a very old harbour. I think the oldest house down there is from 1680 something, and it's a very charming place to sit and enjoy the sun and have a drink, packed with people. In the summer lots of tourists go there. Our famous Danish fairy tale teller Hans Christian Andersen used to live down there, and yeah, it's very, very nice. So all the activity is on the other side. So now I'm going down the northern side of the harbour. So Nyhavn is actually here. You see the boats and actually the house. You see the two white houses next to each other. So the house on the left is where Hans Christian Andersen used to live, where he lived for 16 years, I think it was. He wrote many of his fairy tales. And this is the new bridge called Inner Harbour Bridge, I think. The Inner Harbour Bridge, but also called the Kissing Bridge by some, because the two bridges, when they open, they sort of come together, the two halves, as if they were kissing. Er det rigtigt? Tak skal du have. She saw that my sweater was actually coming out of the bag. Alright. So this is a great shortcut. This is the National Opera. This is a nice cargo bike. suddenly you're in this part of Copenhagen, which was normally quite a long detour. So that's great. Actually, the famous, world famous Danish restaurant Romer used to be placed around here, I think. These buildings. But there was just too much traffic with this bridge, so they decided to move. There's a few house builds. Alright. So now I just have to find out exactly where I need to go. Left turn here. Must be a left turn. Let's see. Oops. What a parking here. Crazy. Blocking traffic. Day. It's a Tuesday afternoon. House and a boat. Not bad, huh? Wow, this bag is acting up today. Handles have jumped off. Street. Yeah, it's really lovely here. These old naval buildings. Been here for a while actually. Let me just double check. Yeah. We are here, Philip den Langes Alley or reception. Okay, I think we're at the right place. I will end the transmission here.